well, we emphasize a lot on mobility. And a lot of our users really like us because of the capabilities of accessing it on multiple devices. So as I mentioned, we have even the iPad version. So if, again, I'm Ming, and if you have any questions, just email to ming@socialwok.com. But one thing I want to quickly get into is that why would Socialwok matter, right, to your organization? How would you enter the organizations and have a conversation with them about this? Is that what we find is that people are finding that emails are not very effective for sharing in groups, right? A guy could leave. They want to see projects. How do you find information on a project? Email is really not the best way to do it. And increasingly, people are getting distributed in many locations, and they're mobile. So it's important to build a community, right, within the company to keep people connected. So Socialwok acts as a way to build a community. And lastly, wikis and CRMs have proven not to be very effective collaboration tools sometimes, and it tends to die off for the company in general because they are usually too formal, too structured, right? So with Socialwok, it's very unstructured, as you can see. So now let me show you a demo of Socialwok. So you guys should be able to see my screen that shows my Socialwok network. So we actually support Google Apps login. So you can log in with a Google Apps account. So you can see here Ming. And as I mentioned to you, you can see here is the feed, right? And here are the people that I collaborate with. These people are actually outside of my organization. To see the people within my organization, you can click people, and you can see the people that are in my organization. I can even see their profiles. So for example, I mentioned to you, right, Socialwok support profiles. So you can see, if I click on profiles, you can see all the updates that I have posted. And you can see on my right, my title, you can see my background, and you can see my previous experience, education, where I live, my phone number, and stuff like that. And now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to illustrate, right, how people can create, for example, a feed for a new project, right? So say project A. And I'm going to say, for example, example of sharing with people within and outside. So Socialwok is very search driven. So you can see here, I can just type someone within my company, right, for example, my CTO, and I can make it private. What does private and public mean here? In Socialwok, right, if I put it as private, only people who are actually invited through email or added this way will see the feed or find information in the feed. So it allows you to keep things private, because by default, everything in Socialwok is public, right, within the organization. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to keep it private. And as I mentioned, the domain is socialwok.com, right? I can invite, say another person, right? Or I can invite someone outside. And you can see we are integrated Google Contacts. I can type, and Google Contacts will kick in. So example of inviting people within and outside. And I just saw a question from Mr. Tan. He mentioned that can this profile, the profile that I showed you just now, right, be imported from Facebook profile. Currently, we don't support Facebook profiles, but we will be supporting LinkedIn at some point. Now, so I basically created the feed, right? So you can see if I go down and see the list of my feed, I can see, for example, let me just type it. Just now what I created was project, right? You can see it. Everything in Socialwok is search-based. So I can click on it, and it pulls up. So I can even customize it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you sharing webinar PPT, right? So Socialwok has Google Docs integration. So I can actually, for example, share Google Docs. I can also, for example, share a website. So you just type it and we'll automatically preview the website. And I'm going to post it. So you guys see it? And now you see, right, I invited someone just now called Test1. So Test1 is at Vientra. They're outside of this organization, Socialwok. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up. We support multiple domains in a single browser. So if I have Vientra, for example, is the organization I'm going to log in right now. I'm going to log in as this user Test1. And this user, you can see here, in Socialwok, if I click Mail, it will open up Mail. And you can see the invitation here. So if I click on the invitation to collaborate on Project A, right, you can see, and I click on it, it will actually open up Socialwok. And you can see it right here. So all I see is just Project A. I don't see anything else that I'm not invited to. And then what I'm going to do here is, thanks, I'm going to comment, right, on this. So you can do this from the mobile phone, Android, or anything like that. So once I've commented, in Socialwok, we're integrated with Google Contact. You guys see on my right-hand side of my screen, you should see an IM notification. And at the same time, we send email notifications. So if I want to reply, if I could be, say out in the airport and I get this email, I can just reply. Replying from email. And it will get sent. So at the same time, you can see Socialwok is integrated with Gmail because if you see on my right-hand side, I have a Socialwok gadget right inside Gmail. And I can open up Socialwok right there. And just now, remember, I've actually commented by email. So if I open up Socialwok, you can see it right here. And I can see all the feeds I want. I can see my own profile. I can search for files. So for example, I can search for the last post that I put as webinar, right? And I just click search, and you actually pull up everything got to do with webinar, including the files. Yep. And I can see the files that are shared within my organization right in Gmail. I can even preview the documents. For example, I'm going to preview the document. I'm going to preview this picture. So if I click on this preview button, it'll actually bring up. Sorry, I clicked too quickly. So I got a question from Mr. Tan, is that can you disenable notifications? Yes. Everything in Socialwok you can actually customize, right? Just now I mentioned there's profiles, so you can add your profiles here. And then at the same time for notifications, you can see here, we have several forms of notifications. We have email notifications, we have Google Talk notifications, and desktop. If you have a Chrome browser, we support the Chrome desktop. So you can see on your right, all the notifications, and you can set it per feed or for all the comments, or when people comment on your post, or people comment after, so you can offset all these actually. But let me go back to my Socialwok. Yeah, just now I can actually preview. You can see here, if I click, I'm sharing Google Docs between domains. So if I click at this document, it will actually open up the reseller document and preview it. You can see I'm sharing between Socialwok, Ming at Socialwok, and Test1 at Vientra in a feed. So you can see that Socialwok works great as a project management tool also, and team collaboration where you can collaborate with your customers, with your suppliers, and you can archive the whole conversations of what's going on here. So I think I'm done with the first part of the demo. So do we have any questions?
I have a question from someone asking, is this available on mobile?
Yes. So if you guys want to see, yes, this is available on iPhone, Android, Windows Phone 7, and if you want to see the details, as I mentioned, you can actually, we have a video of it actually right now. I'm going to post it in the chat window. So if you guys want to take a look, can you guys see the YouTube video, that link I posted? Just shut off.
Also,
yeah, so you can see basically, yeah. Go ahead.
Another question is it available on standard, and is it available on Google Apps for free or just the Google Apps for Business?
It's available. We work on a premium model, so Socialwok is available on standard. You guys can just sign up any standard edition domains. However, the terms of service is such that for standard edition Google Apps, they will basically, the owner of the data that's posted in Socialwok belongs to the person who posted it, not the organization. If you subscribe to the Premier Edition, which I'm going to go through next, it's the paid version, the company will actually get ownership of all the data, as well as admin controls to manage their users and moderate content and things like that, and security.
Okay. Sure. So, because we had a couple of questions about what is the difference between the, I guess, like the paid version and the free version, but I imagine that you'll go through that in your next demonstration. One last question just before we move on to the second half of the demo is there only an iPhone? Is there only an app for the iPhone and not the iPad? I mean, how do you access it on the iPad? Do you just go through the browser, or is there an app for it?
So we don't have, and we didn't design for the iPad. We felt and Android tablets, right? In general, we felt that Socialwok actually works very well from the web. So all you have to do from your tablet version is point it to app.socialwok.com. As you can see here, I have image of how it looks on the iPad. So you can see it's a 2-column view, and everything works as usual. So
Okay.
there isn't a custom iPad application.
Yeah, no worries. Well, that clarifies, I think, the questions that have come up so far. Maybe if we could move to the second half of the demonstration. Yeah.
So the second half I'm going to show you is basically the Premier Edition, right? What do you get, right? With Socialwok, there are three main points, right? First thing you get is, actually, wait, let me just pull out my slides. Let me see. Okay. So, yeah. So let me just, actually, I forgot this slide. Let me just finish this first. So in terms of Socialwok, where we are, right, we have been in production since October 2009, right? So it's been 1 year plus. And if you're interested in case studies on Socialwok, you can see how some organizations are using us. I shared it inside the chat window. and we are one of the top-rated Google Apps marketplace application where people can just add it, right? And we just launched the Premier Edition this month. And so in terms of partner opportunity, right, there are a few things that we are looking to work with resellers is that resellers can actually use our social API that comes with the paid edition, and we support it, and you can create your own business apps. So I'll talk a little bit about that and how it works. And as well, you can have professional services income and your own recurring income and opportunities to upsell your own services. So with regards to the Premier Edition, Socialwok will provide users from 500 megabytes of free storage to 3 gigabytes per user, right? So that's the first difference, right? You get more storage. And number two, from an admin perspective, the domain that has the Premier Edition will get a console called the admin console. So you can see I'm logged into this domain called Vientra as the administrator. And when I click this, Manage Socialwok, which is the red tab, it will pull up basically this control panel. And this control panel, you can see, right, you can manage users, you can manage all the content within the domain, and you can manage the domain itself. So for example, to go to users, right, I can see all the users, when it got created, when did they last sign in, their email address, and I can search, and then I can click on any particular one of them, and I can actually set and modify their profiles. I can set and modify their notifications. I can even suspend the user. And in terms of domain settings, Social allows you to enforce SSL. You can even put custom messages for people when they log in or when they get a password reset. And we even allow you to do things like custom enable and disable certain features. And in terms of content moderation, you can see these are the feeds in the network. So if I click on any one particular feed, for example, you can see different messages. You can see all the messages that are posted. So if you see any message that is sensitive or that doesn't fulfill company policies, you can delete it. And you can also set the permissions for a feed. You can change the settings. You can make an additional administrator. You can make the feed private from public. You can make a person unfollow a feed. So you basically have full control when it comes to the content moderation. So basically that is the key advantage of the Premier Edition, that it comes with a console to allow you to do all these security controls. Now, do you have any questions before I proceed? So one of the things that Socialwok is really powerful with the Premier Edition is that we'll make it actually very easy for Google Apps resellers to value add, right? Because one of the issues I think a lot of Google Apps resellers find, right, when working in the ecosystem of Google Apps, right, is that where do you add value, right? So with Socialwok, given that we're accessible over multiple devices on the iPhone, Android, and iPad, and we have all these notifications, we can allow you to create your custom applications that can live inside Socialwok. So you can use our API and create applications like, for example, a simple polling application or a task list or some sort of custom display of some business process information for a particular business. And we'll list it on the left-hand side, and you can post notifications to the feed. You can get the social graph of the company, right? So it's literally like very similar to Facebook platform, basically, but focus on the business aspect of organizations. So I think basically, if you guys are interested with regards to Socialwok, you can try us out at www.socialwok.com. And as we are looking for partners and resellers for various regions in the world, please email me at ming@socialwok.com to express your interest. So I think that's it for me. Maybe we'll take questions. Lona? We allow you to embed Socialwok into any Google site. So you can see, for example, on my web page right now, right, this Google site page, for example, you can see that we have embedded the gadget into a Google site of that domain. And it will actually allow the user to access Socialwok inside Google site itself.
And have you, you mentioned that you're currently developing your reseller program. I mean, so where are you with that, reseller plan at the moment? And is there any particular regions that you want to grow out?
So right now we have a lot of traction in actually UK, and we have been getting a lot of inquiries in Australia. So we're looking for resellers who actually target the mid and large enterprise market, right? That type of range of customers, because we found that a lot of them.
Okay. And one last question is, what is critical to know from a reseller perspective? I mean, is there like a sales target that you need to determine?
You mean of how we evaluate resellers that join Socialwok? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Right
what will
now,
that relationship look like? Someone's asking, can you set up a trial version just for a couple of people within an organization to trial Socialwok?
Yes, that's how we have actually grown to about, right now Socialwok has about 60,000 users, and that's how we have grown actually. You guys can just right now go to www.socialwok.com and just use the standard edition and do a small trial within any organization, right? It can be a standard edition or premium edition. You can just log in and they just invite the small group of test users using the box on the right-hand side. So, yes,
okay.
The answer is yes, very much so.
Okay. Someone is asking, can like an individual person who is not a company sign themselves up as a reseller?
Yes, we are always open to talking with different people. So yes, the answer is yes. We'll be interested. But
we've got someone else asking if you could please explain the support relationship with the reseller. So what level of support they'll receive?
So in terms of support, what we do is because right now we are looking for selected few only, you can expect very good day-to-day working. So we will give you sales support, i.e. we'll teach you how to communicate. Because I think communicating to the client why they would want to have a social collaboration tool is very important, right? This is very new. Even though Facebook is catching on and getting a lot of adoption at the consumer level, things still move very slowly at enterprise. So the key here is to go in with specific use cases, saying that we can help you with sharing of files within your enterprises in a group setting. We can help you with project management. We can help you with creating a community for all your distributed salespeople, and all these accessible over multiple devices. So all these things will help you with going in, communicating the message, following up with the deployment, and helping you using our API to create custom business apps.
Just fielding more questions from the attendees. Can you confirm that an app domain user could use Socialwok and invite external users to a project, say to share in a project?
Yes. So just like I demonstrated just now, right, in the project A, right here, I've actually, you can see, I'm going to refresh this, but you can see basically that once the page is refreshed, you can see in the collaborator, there will be two columns. One is collaborators within the organization, and one is collaborators outside. The icon is going to show up shortly. But you can see basically an icon here, right? So yes, you can invite people outside of the domain as external users.
And if someone has, wants to use Socialwok to say, like integrate this as an issue tracker, would it be necessary to implement the Socialwok API, or is integration with Google Apps enough?
So you can see right here, do you guys see my screen? You guys can see this RSS symbol called Google Related. So if I click on this feed, what you'll see is that we actually pull in data from outside into the feed, and we use RSS. So if your application generates an RSS feed, we will pull it in. So here is pulling in from Google App Engine. Socialwok uses Google App Engine to power our service to make it highly scalable and secure, and you can see we pull in the details of any outage. So the answer is to pull in external data. You can use the API if you want, or you can also use common things like RSS.
Okay. And are you able to share data and files that are stored outside of Google Apps on Socialwok?
Yes. So even though I mentioned Socialwok is Facebook for Business on Google Apps, we actually support users who are, you can do everything you can see in Socialwok here, but you can use any normal email address. Right? It doesn't have to be a Google Apps or Gmail account. It can be literally any email address. So you can just log in with any email address into Socialwok, and you can get access to everything you see here today. It's just that things that are specific to Google Apps, like the Google Docs sharing, and Google Talk and Google Chat integration and Gmail integration might not be there. But everything else is available.
Okay, so we had a few questions about that in terms of whether users need to be a Google Apps or even a Gmail user, and we confirmed that that's not the case. You can use Socialwok with any type of email, just to make that clear.
Yes, and you can see, right, Socialwok is very good also for email sharing. So here, what I'm going to do is, you can see I'm in Gmail. Socialwok supports every single feed in Socialwok has a feed. So just now I have a project A, right? You can see I'm going to copy this email address for project A, and I'm going to actually put it test email, and I'm going to attach a file with it, and I'm going to send it. So what's going to happen is we work with any email address of any sort, and then you can actually have shared emails into a project feed, including attachment.
Okay, great. I've got one last question here. If people have any final questions, you might want to type them in. But just to clarify, what data is stored by Socialwok rather than Google, if you're using Google Apps and Socialwok?
So all the data that you are seeing here, with respect to the posts and the messages, they are stored on Google App Engine on Google's infrastructure. And you can also share Google Docs and files. And in this case, this is coming directly from your Google Docs quota, right? So this comes directly from the user. We don't store it directly. It accesses the information that's stored on the Google Docs of the user. In terms of files, right? When you store, you can upload a file to Socialwok storage, or you can upload a file to your own Google Docs. Again, we don't store anything that you upload to Google Docs. It's on your own account, right? If you upload to Socialwok storage, this is stored securely with encryption on Amazon S3. So basically, you have your Google Docs, Amazon S3, and Google App Engine storage.